Hello, hello, hello. Let's talk about lead generation. So, everybody's favorite topic, how to generate real estate leads. So, as you're coming in, let me know in the chat where you're listening from. We're looking at lead generation today. I'm just going to share as much as possible with you. Oops, here we go. The live stream is going. Great. So, lead generation, we're looking at that today, real estate lead generation. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them down in the chat. But also, please, any questions that come up, please, by all means, go ahead and drop them down below. We're looking at how to generate over 10 leads daily. So our goal here is to get a game plan together to actually generate that amount of traction, that amount of business from our marketing efforts. Now, the goal here is for this to be very action-based, very, it's not going to take too much time to get this system up and running, regardless of your experience. If you're a brand new real estate agent or have been in real estate for a while, this is going to work for you. So we're going to look at lead generation in a different level that hopefully you haven't really heard all that much about. Well, I shouldn't say hopefully. Hopefully you have heard about lead generation, but the goal here is to make it as simple as possible. All right, so this camera is going to drive me crazy. Luis, hey, thanks for dropping by, man. I appreciate you. Let's see here. Yeah, it's I don't know what's going on with the webcam or the camera, but we're going to need to make do with it. Anyway, all right, so as you have any questions, please feel free to drop them down in the chat. Sean, Flint, Michigan. Here, bro. Love your stuff. Hey, I appreciate you. Thank you. Appreciate all the support. Y'all are kind today. I appreciate y'all. All right, so let's get going. Let's get going before this I'll stop looking at myself in the camera. in the camera. Let's talk about some leads real quick. One key distinction that we need to understand right off the bat. We have San Antonio in the house. I appreciate you. Facebook locked me out, so I can't log into my normal desktop. So I want to honor whoever made that comment. So let me find you real quick. It's important enough that I want to make sure I get to it. Appreciate you hopping on from San Antonio, I'm seeing. Michelle, hey, thanks so much. I appreciate you. What's up? Yo, yo, yo. Mr. Eddie in the house. Appreciate you. All right, so let's talk about some leads. Not enough comments. Keep dropping them down below. I love all the love. However, let's get to business. Lead generation. It's important to understand what a lead is. It's nothing more than a conversation. The more conversations that you have about real estate, the more successful you're going to be in this business. The more people that you get in front of or that get in front of you, that seek you out to have a conversation about buying a house or selling a house, you're winning, right? So the more that you put yourself in that situation, the more that people either come to you or you're in front of them, that is a recipe for a successful career. And there's really two ways that that's going to happen. Either you're actively seeking those opportunities, meaning you're actively getting in front of as many people as possible, whether that's by door knocking, whether that's by cold calling, whether that's by going to networking events, placing yourself in situations in front of enough people to where they actually have a conversation with you. So again, when it comes to leads, it's just a conversation. Think of it that way. The more people that you have a conversation about real estate with, the higher likelihood that you're going to exceed any goals. It doesn't matter which goals you have, any goals in real estate. So if you're looking at it from that standpoint, it almost becomes a game at that point. Well, how many people can I get in front of today? How many people can I have conversations with? As opposed to going the other way and thinking, oh, now I have to call these people. Oh, I hate cold calling. Well, a lot of people hate it, but a lot of people are making a lot of money. And a lot of people are recognizing that as the conversations are happening, there's more likelihood that there's a commission check down the road, right? So hopefully that's making sense. A lot of us recognize it just from a subconscious level. We understand it, but until we actually put it to our front are the front of mind, that's when we actually start succeeding. That's when we start seeing movement in our business. So there's that active lead generation, and we'll talk very tactile. I've broken down into step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, just like I always do on all the other videos that you get from me. So I want to make sure that we take action, but really first we need to understand what we're doing, and then it becomes very, very simple to take those actions. Understanding the why in many cases supersedes the how. So the active, right? But then you have the passive conversations, or passive, you're getting in front of people in a passive way. And this means your YouTube videos. This means your social media videos that you've put out there years ago, weeks ago, months ago. This means your blog. This means your Pinterest. This means any activity that you set forth previously that you don't have to be in front of the computer screen to enact, or have to be behind, really, you don't have to physically do after you set it into motion. That's a passive way to have to bring people to you. So again, leads, having the conversation, right? That's what we're talking about. Getting in, having as many real estate conversations as possible. And we either put ourselves into those scenarios, into those situations actively, or we put ourselves in those situations in a passive context, right? So that's what we're talking about today. Let's get into the actual how. I want to make sure that we honor our time together. And let's talk about how this ends up happening. In order to average over 10 leads every single day, there is activity that you need to do every single day. You can get to that number by simply cold calling. Now, that's not part of the strategy, don't worry, but you can get to the 10 conversations every single day simply by spending hours and hours on the phone. You can average over 10 leads a day. Now, again, that's not part of this strategy. I'm going to show you how to scale, how to grow to where you're able to replicate yourself and have people do this for you in many cases, to where you don't have to do it yourself or alone. But at the end of the day, we need to understand that 10 leads, 10 conversations every single day is not that difficult. It's just having the discipline to call for 5 hours a day, having the discipline to door knock for 8 hours a day, having the drive to do both of those, sending 10,000 pieces of mail every single month. Yeah, that will bring you 10 conversations pretty regularly, daily, right? But that's that gets expensive, and you're spending either a lot of time or a lot of money. The goal here is to optimize our time and leverage ourselves, and that's what you're going to see today. So step number 1, for those of you that are writing things down, this is step number 1, how we get into an actual system that you can replicate either by yourself, meaning you do everything yourself, or you bring in some assistants to help you or companies to help you. But we'll talk about scaling shortly. The very first step is, there's many other avenues, many other blueprints, but the blueprint that I want to share with you today is leveraging one property every single week. So if we're talking about action items, step number 1 is securing one property every single week. So since many of us start our weeks on a Monday, we'll call it Monday. On Monday, your job, your responsibility, every single Monday, here moving till forever, if you want to stay on this blueprint, if you want to stay on this plan for lead generation, every single Monday moving forward, you're securing one property. Ideally, these are your properties, right? Meaning properties that you are listing, but you need to secure the rights to market one property. In many cases, it's not going to be your property. You know, if you were to bring a property to market every single week, then you're selling 52 homes a year. That's amazing. God bless you. That's incredible. But we understand that a lot of us are not there. We understand that. So we have to leverage our surroundings. We were talking about in our daily calls, we have daily calls. In our daily calls, we were talking about being resourceful. I believe it was Shane Feist over in Wisconsin. We were talking, on Wednesdays, it's our mindset calls with our group. And if you're interested in details on how to participate, The link is down below so you can check that out. But he was talking about being resourceful, right? And that really applies here. If you don't have one property to market, you don't have rights to, if you don't have one property that you're taking out to market because they're your listings, that's fine. You need to be resourceful and secure the rights to market one property every single week. And that just means 52 homes from somebody. Ideally, at some point, you start listing homes, right? Ideally, in the future, you're building your business. But right now, we only need permission to market one property every single week. And that can come in the form of from your brokerage. So many of you are in big box brokerages that have thousands of listings at any point in time. Some of you are broker owners. Some of you are in smaller brokerages. So it might be a little bit more challenging in that respect. But you can always go outside of your brokerage to secure the rights to market one property. Again, what we're using here in this blueprint, so we don't lose our point, our place, is we need to secure rights to market one property every single Monday, every single week, just one. We don't need to go out and secure 8. We don't need to go out there and secure 5. We need to secure one property every single Monday. And we're just using Monday as an arbitrary date. You can use whatever date you start your week on, or day of the week you start your week on, but we need one property that we're going to use as leverage. This is where we're going to be resourceful. This is where we're going to magnify our efforts when it comes to targeted marketing, when it comes to our just generating business. So again, overarching picture, we need to have as many conversations as possible. And one of the best ways that we can do that is by leveraging a property. That's why this blueprint is contingent upon you securing the rights to market one property every single week. And then you're going to see how we're actually going to use that one property and bring us baby properties, right? It's going to bring us a lot of opportunities for commission checks. And you're going to see the exact vehicles that we're going to use for that here in about 2 seconds. Is this making sense? Again, step 1, I know I elaborated on it so very much, but it's really that important that I'm not asking you to do 20. I'm asking you to do 1 a week, and you can manage that. Now that's going to be that first domino. That's the first domino that you're going to topple over. Once you secure that, the next domino is going to fall into place. So once you have that property that you have the rights to market, and a little pro tip, by the way, before we move forward, because I don't want you to get mired down in this step and not take action. If you don't want to ask for permission to market somebody else's listing, then just get a brand new build. Just get a brand new build. There's plenty of new homes being built, whether it's from a major like a DR Horton, like an Impression Homes, like a Lennar, these major builders. Get one from them or get one from a local builder, a builder that's putting 5 homes on the ground, a builder that's putting in 10 homes on the ground, whatever it ends up being. Just secure that property. All right, so now that you have your property, now what do we do with it? Well, step number 1. Well, I already said step number 1. Let's say step number 2, which is in fact is the playbook here moving forward. We're going to put that property on Marketplace. And again, our goal here is to have 10 conversations every single week. You can do that by cold calling. You can do that by door knocking. You can do that by sending thousands of dollars of direct mail pieces if you have the capital and desire to do so. But here I am taking an assumption that you don't want to cold call, that you don't want to door knock, and you don't want to spend $10,000 every single month to do this. I'm making that assumption. Maybe I'm speaking out of turn. Maybe you do want to cold call. Maybe you do want to door knock. Maybe you do want to spend $10,000. That's up to you. However you want to do that. Here, I am going on a shoestring budget. You're going to see how that happens in a very systematic way. Once we have that property, we're going to place it on Marketplace. Now, it's Facebook Marketplace, by the way. So we're going to put it on Facebook Marketplace. Over here. Put it on Facebook Marketplace or Meta Marketplace, depending on when you're watching this video. That's going to be step number 1. Maybe the audio is a little bit better now. Marketplace is where you're going to go, and you're going to post this listing on marketplace. Now, I have plenty of videos on how to do this. In fact, I did one about a week ago. So I will link that down below. We're not going to spend the time to actually go line by line from screen to screen. I have a video on that. So it's going to be part of your resourcefulness to go down to the bottom of the description and find that video, or go to my YouTube channel and type in Meta Marketplace, and I show you the exact strategy to place this property that you have secured, putting it onto Marketplace. This is a playbook, right? Once you're placing it on Marketplace, I guarantee you, and this, I mean, it just has been proven over and over and over and over again. I guarantee you, you're going to at least get 3 conversations from this just one strategy. And here's the thing, you don't have to only do it today. So let's talk about it. If this was being started on Monday, you can do this again on Tuesday. You can refresh it on Wednesday. You can post again on Thursday. You can continue doing this with that singular property. So that's something that should not stop you. That's something that will work if you're willing to work. So that's going to be the first place that you take this property that you have now secured. Let's just call it, for sake of this example, let's just say that you ended up going with the new construction home from D.R. Horton. Let's just say you got a property from D.R. Horton that you see is out for sale, and you start promoting that specific floor plan. We'll call it I'm struggling with words. let's call it the Meridian. All right. So we'll call it the Meridian plan. So you secure the right to market that property. And with new construction, by the way, you don't always have to ask for permission if you don't want. It's up to you how risky you want to get with that. But you can promote you can promote new builds all day long. Builders aren't generally going to care, because what that means is that you're helping them get exposure to the new builds anyway. Worst case scenario, that home sells faster, so they don't care. Anyway, you are going to post that Meridian floor plan onto Marketplace on Monday. And I guarantee you that you're going to get at least 3 leads every single day moving forward if you're consistent with it. So on Tuesday, you're going to do the exact same thing, except now it's going to need to read a little bit different if you're going to do double posting. So you need to have the images and the verbiage that you use on Monday needs to be changed on Tuesday. So you need to have other images and other verbiage, because Meta Marketplace, Facebook Marketplace, will see that as a duplicate. It will reject it. Right? So just a little pro tip right there, because I've done this plenty, giving you a little heads up. So as these roadblocks that nobody tells you about, everybody can rip off one of my videos and claim it as their own and give you this, hey, use Meta Marketplace. They can do it all day long, but they don't have these nuances because they're not doing it. So just want you to have that for your understanding. So it's in these minute things that people are missing it, right? All right. So if you have any questions on that, please feel free to let me know. Have to bowl, good stuff. Will this be posted later? Absolutely. It's going to stay on the YouTube channel. Watching from the Philippines. William, thanks so much. I appreciate you. All right. So Marketplace, we've secured our Meridian floor plan. Now we put it on Marketplace. Now we've accounted for 3 leads. And moving, I'll do another video that'll do a recap of this, but with the results so you can see it happen in real time. All right, Craigslist. Craigslist is still one of the most frequented websites in the US today. So what you're going to do is you're going to put this same property that you've already secured the rights to market, and you're going to market it on Craigslist. So we're going to put this Meridian on Craigslist. Now, depending on where your Craigslist is, if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, if you're in New York, if you're in Orlando, if you're in wherever, it's going to have various geographical spots. So you're going to be able to place it in different areas. So as an example, our Craigslist has Fort Worth, has Dallas, has Mid-Cities, has North DFW, and South DFW. So there's 5 places where I can place this listing on. So I would put it on Fort Worth, I would put it on Dallas, and I would put it on South DFW because that's where I live. So I can put it on 3 places. Now, how you make this work is you create 2 Craigslist account. One is going to be one is going to be for your post on Monday, and then Tuesday you're going to use your other Craigslist account because there's a cool off period that has to happen. When you post on Monday, you have to cool off for 48 hours before you can post again. The same thing, that is. You can post other things. If you want to sell your car in the meantime, go at it. Do whatever. But when we're talking about the same property, when we're talking about the same information, it's just easier for you to post on Monday with one account, post on Tuesday with another account, post on Wednesday with that same account that you used on Monday, and move forward. So with Craigslist, you can count on 2 leads consistently every single day. Right? So a lot of this has to do with you getting these systems in place, reminding yourself to post on this every single day. So you just have to show up. So if you're not showing up, someone else needs to show up. So this is where we cue in some reinforcements. This is where we cue in some virtual assistants. This is where we cue in some assistants. This is where we cue in some other individuals into your business, or you automate this somehow, meaning is somebody that can, it's software that can post for you. Now, this is where I would be remiss if I didn't mention this because I am part owners in it, Agently. So agently.com. We do have the capability, not to post on Craigslist yet, but we do have the capability of posting on Meta, on Facebook, on Meta. So check out agently.com. And for those of you that are part of my real estate group, you know that you get that for free. So DM my assistant if you're I notice some of you are here right now from the group, so I wanted to remind you there that you have access to Agently for free. So just email my assistant and she'll get you taken care of so you can have the Agently account for free, so you don't have to pay for that. But when it comes to anyway, so either you're doing this or you're having somebody else do it for you, so an assistant, or it becomes automated, right? So you have some a system. I'm not aware of one that would do this for you without some manual intervention. I know KV Core will push the listing over to if it's on the MLS, it'll push it over to Craigslist, so it's just a one-click post, but there's still somebody on the back end that needs to be on there to click the button, right? So unless you have a script that will do this for you, you'll have to manually do it. All right, so that's going to be the Craigslist. That's the Craigslist. Again, we've talked about securing the rights to market that property, and we're calling it the Meridian from D.R. Horton. That's what we're marketing. We're putting it on Meta Marketplace every single day. We're putting it on Craigslist every single day. So we've accounted for some leads in that regard. Now it's personal posting time. Now, personal posting time, I'm going to give you 2 strategies. There's a ton more, but I'm going to give you 2 strategies. So as to help you along, I want you to take some of these strategies and really put them to work today. So one of those is going to be it's just going to be a direct sell. So just lack of a better way of putting it, it's just going to be a direct sell. It's just going to be you highlighting the property in its full glory as it sits. Right? So you're going to put that property on your personal posts, whether that's going to be on Meta Marketplace. That's going to be, I'm sorry, not Meta Marketplace, on your Meta, so on your Facebook, so on your personal. And some of it is going to also go on your groups if you happen to have any groups. But basically it says your personal posts. These are posts that you're making in in your social media. And this includes any social media that you want to post this on, whether that's LinkedIn, whether that's Instagram, whether that's Facebook/Meta, on the walls, or on the stories, right? So everybody is aware of this. So stories, just as a quick reminder, it's that 24-hour timeline. So it's going to go away in 24 hours anyway. So why not bring it back and have a callback? But anyway, that's the direct post. That's the direct sell of that Meridian floor plan. That's one strategy that I was talking about when it comes to the types of posts. Now, the other one's going to be a bit more intriguing, it's going to generate a bit more curiosity. And that one's going to be around hey, I have access to this property that is not fully built yet. DM me for details. Right? So I have access to this property that has not been built yet or fully finished. DM me for details. And this again is contingent upon it being a new construction. This is we were talking about DR Horton, and we were talking about the Meridian. So what we're doing is we're making the exact same property appealing in a different way, right? So we can either post on our Facebook profile or on our Meta profile, hey, check out this listing of the day or this home of the day, and people see it. But here's the thing, not many people are going to engage with it. Not many people are going to hit the like. Not many people are going to comment. Not many people are going to share it. And that's okay. That's fine. That's one type of post. But if you post with a bit more curiosity, a bit more intrigue, like I just mentioned, of I have a property that has not been fully built yet or has not been finished yet, DM me for details. That's a little bit different. You're going to get people in your DMs, some people you've never spoken to before, reach out, right? So this is something that if you use the exact same property but present it in through a different lens, you're going to have some radically different results. And you can do the same thing if it's a property that was just listed or a property that's about to hit the market. So if you're talking about that property that, again, you just need that one property, this is going to build out your content for the remainder of the week. That's why we're only talking about one property. We haven't changed anything. I'm just giving you different examples for execution. One of those is now they have that property, you can present it in a different way, even if it's not a new build, even if it's not a property that is not new. It's a property that was either just hit the market or is about to hit the market. So in the example of a property that's about to hit the market, so if you secured the rights to market a property that is about to hit the market, it's like, I have a property in Fort Worth that's about to hit the market next week. DM me for details. Well, your friends, your sphere, those of them that have been interested in real estate in some capacity in the near term are going to DM you. They're going to reach out to you. And again, you can post this on your stories. You can post this on your Instagram. You can post this on your whatever. You can do it that way. Now this one, I'm going to be very, very generous because not everybody has the amount of followers or amount of friends that other people do. So I'm going to be super generous and we're going to only account for one lead here. So we were talking about 3 leads through Marketplace, 2 leads through Craigslist, 1 lead through your personal post. So now we're at 6 leads daily. And again, these are all based off of averages. These are based off of numbers. So everyone's going to have different results. Some of you are going to have Marketplace alone is going to generate those 10 leads daily. Craigslist alone is going to generate 5 leads instead of the 2 that I allocated. So this is all based off of averages. So I'm averaging everything out to something that is reasonable. I could very easily have titled this 1,000 leads in a day, but I'd be lying to you. That'd be a bit of a stretch. So this is something that is attainable regardless if you just got into real estate or if you have 10 years in the business, right? So personal posts, this is very powerful. If you see the nuances on those 2 ways of posting. One is the direct post. The other one is more of a little bit of an intrigue post that provides a bit more curiosity with that post. So that's what we're talking about. I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up a paid strategy, which would be meta ads. And again, just for context, we were talking about lead generation, right? We were talking about leads is basically conversations. Lead is as having as many real estate conversations as possible. That's what we're calling leads for now. And there's the active pursuit of those leads. So we can actively cold call, we can actively door knock, we can actively prospect and get to 10 leads every single day. It's a heck of a lot of work, and in some cases, it's going to cost some good amount of money. But we can actively get this business. So these are all the active strategies that I'm talking about. So we talked about Marketplace, we talked about Craigslist, we talked about personal postings, and now we're talking about meta ads. We're only tackling the active strategies. We're not even going to factor in the passive strategies. Even though I'm going to share them with you, I'm not going to count any of those towards this 10 leads per day goal. With your meta ads, this one is very simple. It's where you find a lot of videos in this channel where I actually share all the strategies and the exact ad copies with you, so you'll be able to see them. With meta ads, what we're looking for is posting a lead generation campaign on Meta, aka Facebook, of a new build. So in this case, we were talking about that Meridian home. We were talking about that home coming from DR Horton. And now we're going to run an ad to that property. So we are going to run an ad that is a new build ad, new construction ad. If you're interested in the ad copy and everything, the step-by-step, I'll also link up that video down below so you can check it out, where I screen share with you the exact ad to run. And I exclude nothing. I show you the exact ad copy. I show you how to actually follow up with them. I show you the exact buttons to push. There's nothing that's held back. I'm not charging you $1,000 on this course or whatever. Like, this is way more stuff than you get from all the ads that you're seeing on the social media masterclass. I'm giving all this to you so you can actually see this. Is it just me? No sound. It's just you, Simone. Well, it was a couple of minutes ago, so let me make sure that's still the case. Yeah, it's just you, Simone. Let me know if you turn up the audio. That'll help you out. So with meta ads, depending on your budget, but I'll be conservative with meta ads when it comes to these types of leads. You'll be able to generate those 4 remainder leads. So remember, we allocated 2 to marketplace. We allocated 3 leads to Meta Marketplace / Facebook Marketplace. We allocated 2 to Craigslist. We allocated 1 to our personal posts, which all those were conservative, and we're allocating 4 to Meta ads. So for $10 a day, you'll be able to round out those 4 additional leads that you need to have those 10 real estate leads every single day. It's totally mute on my end. I can't help you on that. You might want to look at your browser, your speakers, where they're being pulled from. And if you're not on your mobile, hop on your mobile right fast and look up the channel, JaimeResendiz.com, and turn up the volume there. Dan, good seeing you. I hear it. I appreciate you. Go check out Dan's channel, by the way. He is absolutely crushing it with YouTube, which we'll talk about here on the passive strategies. Simone, I hear it. I love it. All right, so meta ads. Again, I'll link it down below, but what we're talking about is getting our perfect game plan together. We're talking about we'll swap over to the passive strategies here shortly, but we're talking about active strategies that require our effort, that require, in some cases, our capital to get to those 10 leads. And if you look at it, outside of those $10 that we just talked about, everything else is free to execute. So let's just be very conservative. For $10 a day, that's what, $300 a month. And assuming that this works, which it absolutely does, for $300 a month from the ad side alone, even if half of this is, even if this works on half the way that I'm saying that it does, you're looking at having a lot of conversations. If you only get one of these conversations to convert, you're talking about $7,000, $9,000, $15,000, whatever your medium price point is in your market. It just requires a bit of time on task over time. Is that the correct way of saying it? It's probably not the correct way of saying it, but requires a bit more structure. Again, all of it is that first domino is securing that property first, taking that property and putting it on Meta Marketplace, taking that property and putting it on Craigslist, taking that property and posting it on your personal social media, and then running a few ads to that particular property. And these are all active. All of them are active. So now let's talk about some passive strategy, how you exponentially grow this. And I'm not factoring in any of those numbers. Not factoring in any additional, hey, if you do this, you're going to receive 5 more leads or 20 more leads. Because I would much rather just put it as very realistic as possible and add these next steps as a nice, gravy, right? So there's a little sugar on top. Once you have that property, and again, we're talking about D.R. Horton, and we're talking about that Meridian floor plan, whether it's already been complete or it's on its way to be completed, it's very close to completion. Once we have the rights to market that property or have pursued that particular property as going to be this is the one that we're going to use, you just record and do a video tour. Just record and do a YouTube video tour where if you look on YouTube after this, by the way, I don't want you leaving, but if you look on YouTube after this, look up 200K home. Like what does a $200,000 home look like? Or what does a 200K home look like? You're going to see one of my videos that has at this point about 60,000 views or something similar to that of the exact strategy in action. It was just a video tour, got out of my car. It was about 4 minutes in length. I don't remember how long it was. It was shot very bad. It was just so quick. It was all over the place. But if you see the amount of traction that I generated from that one, there is no level of exposure that I could have done for those 5 minutes that I could have done that would have gotten that level. Let me rephrase that. There was no effort that I could have done in those 5 minutes that would equate that level of exposure anywhere else except on YouTube. So that video that I shot, that took me less than 5 minutes to execute, has that level of exposure now. And that was all executing on this particular strategy. And ironically enough, I think that was a D.R. Horton community. I don't think it was a Meridian floor plan. I think it was some other floor plan, but that would have been very ironic as I thought about that. But this one property again that you've identified that particular month that you were going to market, you've already secured the active strategies, but now this is a passive strategy where you're posting this video onto YouTube, and it's going to generate you exposure. It's going to generate you views. It's going to generate you people commenting, people reaching out to you on autopilot. Now that's one. And now what's really, really, really exciting, and I have some big exciting news for our group and the Agent First group. Again, if you're interested in some additional information, it is linked down below. But the short form is very exciting because you can record that same home and create a Instagram reel from it, create a Facebook reel, because Facebook now has reels, create a TikTok, and create a YouTube short. 4 platforms that will absolutely explode your exposure. Those are platforms that will absolutely grow. So we have another agent in the group who she's committed to doing reels every single day. And just within the first month that she's been doing it, she's been able to secure 4 clients from that alone. She's just been doing Instagram reels every single day. She's doing one. Some days it only gets 50 views. Some days it gets 5,000 views. Some days it gets 30,000 views, meaning the reels that she's putting out, but she's being consistent with this. She's going out and executing. Now, notice we've been talking about one property this entire time. Notice that we talked about putting it on Marketplace, putting it on Craigslist, posting about it, running ads to it, and then doing a video tour, and now also doing a short form video. Instagram reel, Facebook reel, TikTok, and YouTube short. Those are the passive. So the YouTube and the short form videos, those are the passive strategies, because there it's not necessarily upon your control, if you will, that people reach out to you. That's more of a set it and forget it strategy where now you have these assets that are on your social media that are now on your YouTube channel that will grow with time, right? So it's something that if you break it down this way, it becomes more manageable. A lot of the things, a lot of the frustration that comes with, oh, I got to get on social media, I got to do this, that thinking is very important in terms of you have the self-awareness that social media should be a component of your business, but it can become overwhelming with not knowing the starting point, become overwhelming on what should I do, not become overwhelming because there's just so much that can be done, and we're competing our start with somebody else's middle, meaning we're comparing where we are right now because we haven't started on this journey, whether that's social media, whether that's you just starting on your real estate, and we're comparing it against somebody else's success, which is their middle because they haven't given up yet, so they haven't retired. So we're comparing ourselves to those people that have been doing video for years. We're comparing ourselves to those people that have been in real estate for 10 years, for 30 years. So that's a trap that I fall into myself. That's something that if we just approach it from that overwhelmed standpoint, as opposed to looking straight ahead, taking that next step, working on that next domino, if we continue looking outward, we fail to take action on what we need to be doing, right? So we talked a lot about procrastination in our group call today on our Mindset Wednesday calls. So again, I'll link it down below if you're interested in participating in those. But for all intents and purposes, if you get started in the very simple blueprint that I just shared with you, it's a blueprint that just taking one property as the driver, that first domino, you're going to see the rest of the dominoes absolutely topple over. Folks, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them down in the comment section down below. Have noticed that 80% of you are not subscribed to the channel, so that absolutely hurts me to death. But I understand. If you can help me out with the subscribe, that would really, really